Hi guys, this is Peachy Zashi. Today I'm going to be doing a zine folding video. It's going to be not instructional really, it's going to be more about story time when I went to my first zine event ever. So if you're looking for how to make a zine, this isn't the video for you. I will teach you how to fold a zine. And as you can see, I already have the slits cut out for the paper. You should cut a slit in the middle, not all the way through. And that's really easy to do. You just fold your paper in half and then you cut halfway and then you have that slit. And then you would fold it down, which I'll show you later. So today I just wanted to talk about how I've grown as an artist thanks to one of the friends that I met at a zine fest at New Zealand, which is a pun on New Zealand, which is an event here in Boston. I met several artists there that were very inspirational, and all these zines that I saw other people making were like so incredible. These artworks were like things that I haven't really seen before from like artists that were my age, creating things of such depth and inspiration. And I felt energized to move forward with my own art. So I guess I can talk a little bit about, first of all, New Zealand in general. It's a great event, especially for new artists, younger artists. And here I accidentally folded it wrong. You should fold it out after making the creases. The creases are just to make it easier. As you can see, I make it like a little diamond in the center and then I press it down. And that's how you get that fold, to get the pages in the right order. And so, New Zealand is a great event for younger artists who maybe haven't gone to like a very big convention or comic convention before. It's a very safe space. The event welcomes people who are very open-minded, and I met amazing people there. So someone I met there, I'm happy to call a friend, introduced me to zine making. And I went to the event not really knowing what a zine was and walked out with the feeling that I had to make one. So that was incredible, first of all. And I went to another event that my friend had done. I'll post their Instagram here. And they taught me how to make zines, basically. And it was an incredible event also. They're a wonderful community organizer and overall just an incredible human being. So inspirational, and I just feel like I grew a lot from the experience and also grew a lot as an artist just in experimenting with different sorts of mediums. I mean, I had always liked collages and I wanted to try something that might not be so fancy, and I'm hung up always on using things that are like fancy. I constantly feel like I have to go out and buy some tool like to make something. Because you know, fancy art students, they have like gallons of UV resin, or like they have 100 sheets of fancy cardboard paper or whatever. It's excellent to be able to find a creative outlet that isn't so expensive, isn't so terrifying. You know, the learning curve is much lower, and it's like really meditative. It's like folding. Like the folding part was very meditative. So I'm like, I don't know, like if you go to a zine event, I would recommend that you have some sort of material to trade with other artists or to give out for free. Like when I went, I brought several copies of my chapbook, which I'll link in the description below, which were free. I planned to give for free to people at the event. But people would say, "Hey, this is awesome. Do you want to trade with me?" And then they would offer me one of their zines to trade, which was incredible. Like I wasn't expecting that at all. And it just shows how kind and like amazing the zine community is in general. I don't make zines always. I made this one based off of the difficulties of like cultural angst within my family after my grandfather died. And the fact that it seems so culturally insensitive or kind of like shocking for families to include children in the funeral and death process, and how as a Chinese American I felt so alienated from death as a concept. And when I was met with the idea of death in the family and giving offerings and having to be immersed in Chinese death culture, which is shockingly different from American death culture. I mean, it was incredible but also terrifying. So that was just one of the things that I felt in making this zine, and also just how pertinent death is in all cultures and in all relationships, and how we can make those relationships more meaningful. One thing I also explore is how the ritual of money in my own family was toxic around the subject of money, and how one can trade up time with a loved one in exchange for money, and sometimes how you are not really given a choice to exchange that time, but also just how tricky and how unbelievably slippery that slippery slope is, and how when you find yourself down that path of giving up the important things in your life for money, you can't get it back, and you can trick yourself into thinking that what you're doing is fine or healthy. And how capitalism transcends culture in the funeral, in the death process, and how painful that can be. So I'm wondering what your opinion is on death culture in America, and maybe you're like me and you have an immigrant background and have a complex narrative on death culture and how those things migrate and what meaning you make of it. So if you want to leave a comment, and yeah, I've been reading a lot of Kaylin Doty's works. And I think that it's really curious. It makes you really wonder and think about what death means to you, and what you can make of death besides the confusing cultural pulls that you might get from different institutions and what those institutions make of death. And when you don't have that family guidance, or you don't have a very strong familial culture surrounding that topic. And I just wanted to show my other zine, which I made recently. This one I'm pretty proud of as well. It's pretty small. I took the source for this zine comes from the latest Bumble magazine, and also from National Geographic. I hope that this style of video was interesting, or, nice to watch. Let me know if you like this sort of format. I think that a talk with me sort of might be nice to post once in a while, just between my other content. If you don't like this, leave a comment, let me know. And as always, please subscribe, like, share this video, and ring that bell. I'll see you in the next one.